Modernism in France, Italy, England. Modernism. Modernists describe modern industrial societies and their development and the rapid growth of cities, followed then by WWI. It also rejects the idea of realism and makes use of the works of the past, transforming it into something new through reprise, incorporation, rewiring, recapitulation, revision, and parody, normally transforming and reinterpreting old pieces into new forms.
Modernist architecture emphasizes function. It attempts to provide for specific needs rather than imitate nature. The roots of modernism may be found in the work of Bertolt Lubberkin, a Russian architect who settled in London and founded a group called Tecton. Their stark buildings run counter to expectations and often seemed to defy gravity.
Many new material available in marketplace, such as steel, pre-concrete, glass, aluminum, brought about new building techniques as a part of the Industrial Revolution. The most commonly used materials of modern architecture are glass for the facade, steel for exterior support, and concrete for main building construction. This way is most used for high-rise building.
Some characteristics of modernist architecture: visual expression of structure, use of industrially produced materials, juxtaposition, challenge to false harmony and coherence, classical allusions, simplicity and clarity of forms, open for appearance of a material, visual emphasis on horizontal and vertical lines.
Modernism in France.
Art Nouveau, or New Art, is an art movement that emerged in the late 19th century. Is projected in the last third of the 19th century began to appear in France, have some sketch modernist taste for steel structure and ingenious architects. Works such as Eiffel Tower, Gustave Eiffel.
The new style created his own school in Nancy in 1901. This new art wanted to break with the past, developing new forms and lines, especially with natural circulated crystal glass and color, adapted to the circumstances and modern life, linked to industrial production, developing in two aspects of architecture and graphic design.
Engineers and architects, including François Hennepin, Auguste Perret, and Tony Garnier, pioneered the use of reinforced concrete construction in the last 19th and early 20th century. The Swiss-born architect Le Corbusier applied the modern machine aesthetic to French architecture in such buildings as the Villa Savoye outside Paris.
Under President François Mitterrand, several new cultural monuments were commissioned for Paris, including Ampey, new pyramid-shaped entrance pavilion at the Louvre, and Dominique's controversial Bibliothèque Nationale.
Characteristics of Art Nouveau. The iconography of the Art Nouveau governs the forms of buildings from the details. The nature them is preferred. The tree appears as an allusion to the tree of life or pagan themes. The fauna also appears, which highlights the plumage of birds, which is inserted in columns, in the texture of wall, etc.
The major architectural change was the relationship between structure and ornament of building. Anatomical forms are used overlapping functional structures elements. In the interiors, the atmosphere becomes important, the space becomes more clean and simple, accentuating the spatial continuity, creating a unity of style between the details and the environment. The facade becomes decorative value.
Modernism in Italy.
The new style is in Italy, a difficult likened to the nationalist mythology that permeates the political and cultural life. The strength of the academics, the attachment to the styles of the past, and the tenacious defense of national identity made in Italy modernism lasted a short time.
In Italy, modernist style assumes the name of floral new style or liberty, which little influence in urban areas is limited to fashion decorations. The English art and crafts movement, the artists give aesthetic dignity to all aspects of daily life, from urban space to homes, from furniture to decorative fabrics and objects, from clothing to jewelry.
The utopian character of this tentative aesthetically connotes everyday existence is clear. The same care in carrying out the objects and the preciousness of the materials used to make products exclusively accessible only to an audience of high purchasing power.
Modernist architecture in some Italian cities. Torino. Pietro Fenoglio, Italian architect, built his own house on a corner with dynamic lines and light, typical of French and Belgian Art Nouveau. The shape of the windows, balcony railings, and outgoing angular body construction, and complete sample project that comes into the house, where all the furniture and decorations were designed by the same Fenoglio.
Milan. Castelli Palace aims to monumentally. The exterior of the building is present with lush sculptures and decoration that alter the dynamic principle of modernist life. More representative, inside the palace is organized around a large central hall, sober and well articulate.
Palermo. Ernesto Basile performs some villas inspired by a modernist aesthetic that combines elements taken from the Viennese architecture, exotic motif. The Villino Florio, Basile, and Vinilio Fassini are exponents Sicilian's Italian liberty style.
Modernism in England.
Modernism emerged as a reaction against the war before First World War, including historical architecture styles. Stylistically, it was functional, drawing upon objects that were designed for a specific purpose, such as ocean liners. It emerged as an idea from continental Europe.
Aesthetic ideas were also borrowed from medieval European and Islamic sources. Japanese ideas were also incorporated early arts and craft forms. The forms of arts and craft style were typically rectilinear and angular with stylized decorative motifs reminiscent of medieval and Islamic design.
The result was exquisitely made and decorative pieces that could only be afforded by the very wealthy. Thus the idea of art for the people was lost, and only relatively few craftsmen could be employed making these fine pieces.
Some examples of modernism in England are Red House and Wall,
Craft House Suburbs,
St. Martin's House,
Bibury Village,
and Kelmscott Manor.